Dear students, welcome to Swayam Shikshaa. So this is our second theme with respect to our UPSC prelims. So the theme which we are going to do today is the types of money. And there are questions in this particular area and which are very simple, but at the same time we should understand from where there can be a question. So once we understand holistically from where there can be a question in this particular area, then our job becomes very simple. Any question related to it can be tackled once the concept is clear. Now, in this area, there were these questions. This was one question. Which one of the following statements correctly describes the meaning of legal tender money? Okay, so there was this question about legal tender. What is a legal tender money? And in the recent past, there was this question about non-fungible tokens. Consider the following statements. Okay, so now what we should understand is, money is basically a form of or a medium of exchange. And before there was money, we believed in something like the barter system, obviously. And the biggest challenge in the barter system is the double coincidence of wants. So you have to find somebody who requires this particular product, and the other party also has to require this particular product. So this issue of double coincidence of wants is a big issue when it comes to barter system. It's not that we can't live without money. Obviously, we know we can live without money, but a medium of exchange has made life easier, but too much of dependence on money made our life even more difficult today. So that is something which you all know. Now, but going to the discussion of the topic, when I talk about something like different types of money, so initially, there was something called as the full-bodied money. Now, when I use the word full-bodied money, it means the face value of the particular money is equal to the intrinsic value. So face value. So suppose I talk about something like the commodity value when we talk about gold currency. So the value of the money is equal to the intrinsic value. The money value is equal to the commodity value. So this is basically called as the full-bodied money. And today we are not using a full-bodied money, obviously, and we are using something called as token money. So when I use the word token money, obviously what we should understand is the money value is greater than the commodity value. So I'll tell you a story. In Bangladesh, suppose a 5 rupees coin, India's 5 rupees coin, the money value of 5 rupees coin was less than the intrinsic value. Now if you start selling these coins or these copper and you start making blades and selling it in the market, so this is how these kind of challenges come up when our commodity value is higher than the money value. Okay, but when you talk about a token money, the money value is higher, but the money does not have much of an intrinsic value. So the coin value may be very less, but the money value is going to be higher. So when I use the word token money, this is what we are doing today. So the money value is greater than the commodity value. This is what we have to understand. Now, in the evolution process, now when we talk about money, today we have something called as the paper money. And in this paper money, again, we have the representative full-bodied paper money, which is basically convertible. And we also have the inconvertible money. So, in the paper money also, I've categorized it into two, which is one is the representative full-bodied paper money. That means this paper money is backed by some reserve. Let's say it is backed by some gold reserve. It means when I take this money and go to the central bank has to give me gold equal to the value that is backed. So that means this is convertible. This money is convertible. So when I use the word representative full-bodied paper money, that means it is backed by currency. It is backed by gold, let's say. So when I go and take this money and go to RBI has to give me equivalent amount of gold. So this is called as the representative full-bodied money. And today we are not using it since we are using token money. Okay, so we are not using this representative full-bodied money. But what is the understanding? Tomorrow if there is a question on representative full-bodied money, it means that it is backed by some currency, it is backed by an asset like gold, and when you go to the central bank, the bank has to give you this equivalent amount of gold. Similarly, we talk about something like the inconvertible money. In the paper money itself, we're talking about inconvertible money. So when I say inconvertible money, This inconvertible money is something like it is not backed by any gold. So if you take this money and go to the central bank, there is no liability on the central bank that it has to pay you equivalent amount of gold. So that is what is called as inconvertible money in the paper money. Now the question comes up here. Today we are talking about token money. Just because token monies are issued or just because something is fiat, it does not mean it has to be accepted by everybody. Now, so therefore, it becomes very important for us to understand what is the difference between fiat, legal tender, and in this legal tender, what is a limited legal tender, what is unlimited legal tender. So these differences should be clear because there can be a simple question on this. When I use the word fiat, fiat means this fiat is something like by order. It can be by the order of government, by the order of RBI. So it is basically by order you are accepting this money. So when I use the word fiat money, it is by order. And this fiat money, today we are talking about token money. So it is not backed by any gold. There is no backing of gold, etc. But by order you are accepting this as money. But just because it is fiat, it need not be a legal tender. So that means somebody can deny. So just because something is fiat, it need not be accepted by everybody. If it has to be accepted by everybody, it should not be denied by anybody, then we call it as something like a legal tender. Legal tender. So when I use the word legal tender, so something that the first basic understanding is a legal tender, first of all, should be a fiat money. Okay, so fiat money, that means by order you are accepting it. But when I use the word legal tender, it means for payment of debt or for any activity, it cannot be rejected by anybody. It has to be accepted. So that is what I mean by legal tender. For payment of debts, etc., it is accepted. Suppose you have gone to a bakery and you have eaten burger. Now you go and give cash to the restaurant person. Now there is a liability created here. That means there is some service which I have taken, okay, and I'm paying. He cannot reject it because that money is something like a legal tender. He cannot deny, he cannot reject. So when we see today, what we have to understand is when we talk about the liabilities of RBI, all the currency notes except 1 rupee note and coins are liabilities of RBI. So these are something like the promissory notes. I promise to pay the bearer so and so amount of money. This clearly indicates when you see the note other than the 1 rupee note and the coins. So 1 rupee note and coins are basically the liabilities of government. All that means here what we should understand, I promise to pay the bearer means these currencies are something like promissory notes. But 1 rupee note is kind of a token money. A 1 rupee note is something like the liability of the government, and that is the only note or a currency. Rest are all something like the promissory notes which are given by RBI. Now all of them are seen as legal tenders, means it cannot be rejected by anybody. Now if dollar is accepted as a fiat money, it is fine, but dollar need not be a legal tender in India because dollar can be rejected in India. So that is something we have to understand, a basic difference between a fiat money and a legal tender. Now the question comes up, what about checks? Now bank checks and all, they are not legal tenders. The check, acceptance of check is dependent on the agreement between both the parties. If both the parties agree, then only they are going to accept checks. So checks are not legal tenders. So checks are basically called as fiduciary money. So fiduciary money is something that is accepted based on a trust concept. So checks are not legal tenders. Checks can be seen as fiduciary money. Okay. Or there are some monies which we call it as the quasi money or the near money. So when I say near money, are deposits in the bank, FDs in the bank. Now these are liquid, yes, to some extent liquid. They can be easily taken out, but they are not a medium of exchange, immediate medium of exchange. So they are near money, but they are not legal tenders. So that is what is quasi money or near money. So fiduciary money based on trust, fiat money by order. If it has to be, something has to be a legal tender, first it has to be a fiat money by order, and it cannot be rejected in payment of debt, etc. It is accepted by everybody. So that is what is called as the legal tender. Now, when I use the word limited and unlimited legal tenders, generally coins are seen as limited legal tenders because people can reject beyond a point, and that is the reason coins are seen as limited legal tenders. For example, 50 paisa coins, etc. So when I say 50 paisa coins, so if I have to beyond 10 rupees, if they are not accepting 50 paisa coins, so you can't call them as unlimited legal tenders. They are legal, they are limited legal tenders. But other notes and all, they are unlimited legal tenders. So that is a basic difference between a limited and unlimited legal tender. Okay. Now in the evolution process today, if I have to see, earlier it was commodity money and then metallic money, paper money, in that it can be token, fiat, etc. What we have discussed now. Okay. And then bank money, and now we are talking about cryptos. And an extension of crypto, today there was a discussion on non-fungible tokens, etc. So cryptocurrencies are not legal tenders obviously in India. So anybody can deny it. And at the same time, NFT, non-fungible tokens, though cryptos and NFTs run on blockchain technology, but NFT, each independent NFT has a different value. I can convert my art into a non-fungible token. I can convert my physical asset into a non-fungible token. I can convert my land into an NFT. But each entity has a different value. So there will not be an uniform exchange value for NFTs like the cryptos. So in the evolution process now, I put crypto at the end here. This is what we have to understand. Okay, so once this basic understanding is clear, any question that comes up, a simple question in prelims should not be a problem for us. Anything in the current affairs, I'll be doing the themes for the current affairs as well, so that will be handled separately. So any current affair related area that is coming up has to be looked into, but most simple basic concept which will fetch you one solid question in UPSC prelims. Okay, so now let's just go through this. We'll just go through these questions here which were asked. Okay, so if you see this question here, which one of the following statements correctly describes the meaning of legal tender money? It's a simple question. Now here if you see bank money in the form of checks, drafts, bills, these are fungible. Okay, so these are basically not fungible, these are fiduciary. So these will be accepted based on trust. This is what is called as fiduciary. But they are not legal tenders. So here if you see the second option, the money which a creditor is under compulsion to accept in settlement of his claim. So this is, so when here there is a compulsion to accept. It is not fiat, it has to be a legal tender if there should be a compulsion to accept. So in this particular question, second one is the answer. Don't go to the answers basically. In and around the question, there will be questions. That is what is very important for UPSC prelims. That is what we call it as a theme. Okay, so now here, another question which has come up here with respect to non-fungible tokens, consider the following statements. Now NFT was in news continuously, and here if you see, they enable the digital representation of physical assets. Yes, physical assets can be converted into non-fungible tokens. They are unique cryptographic tokens that exist on a blockchain. The same blockchain technology, different blocks, data is maintained. They can be traded or exchanged at equivalency. This is wrong. They cannot be traded or exchanged at equivalency because each entity has a different value and therefore can be used as medium of commerce. They cannot be used as a medium of commercial transaction. So you can convert something into it. Somebody likes it, they will buy. That's all. So first and the second statements are okay, but the third statement there is a problem. So what becomes more important is understanding the areas from where the question is cropping. That is what is very important. I hope I have made some sense and you have understood these things. And if you like it, please do comment in the comment box. And different themes are coming up. And I will I'll try to make concepts so simple that any question related to that concept should be doable. I wish you all the best. Thank you.